What's up everybody, this is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. Hope you're all very well and having a great day. So the weather's cleared here, storms passed through, and I had some visitors last night. Some old friends who I met along the XRPL path, drove over to the island a very long way. It's probably 400 miles plus to meet, have a chat, have a catch up, and they didn't disappoint. We met at a local bar here on the island, and I posted a picture of us all last night, hanging out with the boys. So these guys run the exchange Xmart, and a couple of the NFT projects that you might be familiar with, the Cryptoons and the XRPL dudes. Really lovely guys. We had a fantastic time, and we talked about some DGen plays. We talked about the future of the business, that creating ideas that they're going to improve on. A whole host of really thought-provoking ideas on the XRPL, and you know, we don't have too many people around here who are dev orientated, so to hear what these guys are doing is rather cool. They hold the second kind of highest volume easily on the XRPL for NFTs at the minute, and yeah, in some cases they hold the highest in some senses, but what they're doing and what they're building is rather unique. So one of them has a Project X-Dude, which I've been involved with and invested in since the early days. You know, I've invested my own money, and this isn't kind of a deal that I've been given anything. The Cryptoons also the same. You'll know these. Mr. Intuitive. He holds, you know, the avatar to the Cryptoons, and I introduced the two together back in the day. Anyway, I introduced the developers to the guys who built Xmart, so we felt it fitting to have a meeting last night. Great fun guys anyway, and this is the Xmart banner profile and on Twitter, so you know, familiarize yourself with it, and that's their marketplace. And this is one of my, you know, wallets on the NFTs. I've been collecting here for some time. I do have a real interest in NFTs. I have been a bit of a DJ in the Ethereum space back in the day, and I'm still degening a little bit into the XRPL place. It's early days, and I've got a few more to collect, but yeah, I've been purchasing various collections from the Junkies, Pixel Astros, Rich Ducks, OG X Dudes, Secondary X Dudes, X Rillas, another great product, X Zombies, XY Zombies, Moonbirds, Z Punks. Yeah, I've bought X Bays, can't forget Club X, Bearable Bulls, amazing. And I'm, you know, obviously eyeing up other ones. I've had, you know, X Punks and things like that in the past. But anyway, this is their marketplace. It's beautiful. It's really easy to use, and they've got a lot of cool things coming down the line. Anyway, that's them. Right, without further ado, let's crack on and look today at Loadstar 2. Loadstar 2 was the second iteration of a set of writings in a letter by Bearable Guy 123. It connects a lot of his cartoons together in a set of writings, and he uses this as a way to kind of pull all the images and the data together. It's kind of the verbal way of explaining things, so that you can go back to the cartoons and lend it to the images that he's posted out in the wild. And you can get to it through here, tiny URL Loadstar 2. You've probably heard me talk about it hundreds and hundreds of times, and it's because they gave me so much understanding, and this is why I got the follow from BG back in the day. It was because I'd cracked the understanding, and I was the first person to at least vocalize the connection between these data sets, which is, you know, the Loadstar letters and his images. And I was able to do a lot of reverse engineering on his work, because I had all the data in front of me. My job is a data scientist. I'm a physicist in the marine geology world, and I look at large data sets for a living. So my mind has a natural bias to go searching for all the pieces of the puzzle and then trying to build them back together. That is what I do for a living, and you can do it too. It's just a repetitive skill that you train your mind to do. Nothing, you know, special. Don't listen to the bullshit that you need to really know. You don't. It's just piecing things together, and hopefully I can bring this to you so you can piece things together and you can solve the next parts of the series. Anyway, Loadstar 2. Gonna have a sip of coffee because it's been a very late night with those guys last night. And I ended up coming home and doing some trading on some degen moves, which I probably shouldn't have, but there we go. We'll roll the dice on them. But yeah, I need some coffee, so hold on, let me have a sip of coffee before we start. Right, so Loadstar 2. Hello friends. Did this week give you an opportunity to step back and appreciate the bigger picture when it comes to what Ripple has been doing? A couple of Christmases ago I told you some great things were coming. Can you hear me now when I say that there are plans within plans within plans? It's been a tough journey on a wintry road at times, but the seeds that Ripple has been planting for years have sprouted and grown and are starting to bear very, very colourful fruit. Okay, so the first thing that we can link into with this is the plans within plans within plans. Do you remember we went over this before? One of his early banners on Twitter on his reverse bearable guy account was this. And it was this chain of plans within plans within plans with XRP in the middle. Okay, and it rising above a wall with the sun behind it. The banner that you see now has changed many times, and this was the original one before the even sun. So he's referring you back to these original banners that were in place at the time. But the Loadstar letter 2 has expired. Okay, we've seen everything that was in it, and now we'll be moving into Loadstar 3. But we can look back and learn how to connect the dots, if that makes sense. So that was the first piece. He's also said it's been a tough journey on a wintry road at times, but the seeds that Ripple has been planting for years have sprouted and grown and starting to bear very colourful fruit. Well, we know what that refers to. He was referring to this banner, a tough wintry road. And you see these little green sproutings of spring? Well, this is what the tough wintry road means. You know, this has been his profile banner on his bearable guy account that's been winterized. Okay, why is it winter? And why is it? Because their plans had been frozen, you know, things had been slowed down, winters equals the bear markets, but you can see the sprouts of spring coming through, and we're beginning to see this rolled out. Brilliant, isn't it? You can link it all back to his work. MoneyGram was working with Walmart. It wasn't a convenient coincidence. It was purposely set as a proving ground to Ripple's tech. The rumours were flying, but Brad kept that ace up his sleeve to keep it close. What he was saying was, the MoneyGram things, you know, that when they parted deals and they went off to work with Stellar, they were used as muses. They weren't just like failures. They were done deliberately to stress test cross-border payments with a company that they could trust. Okay, you heard a lot of further people saying it was bullshit, it failed. It didn't. This was a test. On the 24th of January 2019, So It Begins was posted with an intention of highlighting the talks and rumblings going around the BIS, which is the Bank of International Settlements, and the upcoming meeting that would spell out to the world for the world to see. 3 mountains with messages couldn't have been more blatant, as foretold in May 2018. The die had been cast as soon as Genitor or Ripple stepped into the water. Right. Okay, so I want to clear up some stuff about this because I'm seeing new community members try and rehash this in their new crazy ways. You don't need to solve this. It's already been solved 3, 4, 5 years ago. Okay, what are we, 2018? This was the So It Begins. Okay, and he tells you in Loadstar 2, on the 24th of January 2019, So It Begins, hear this, So It Begins, was posted with the intention of highlighting talks and rumblings going around the Bank of International Settlements and the upcoming meeting that would spell it all out for the world to see. Now, we'll go into this later on, okay? But he's saying to you, you guys didn't crack this, and so I'm having to explain it to you now, okay? So It Begins is this. It means that the Bank of International Settlements, look, BIS, reverse it, BIS. And the 3 mountains were kind of the very first iterations of the colour scope that he gave us for Bitcoin, XRP and USD. Okay, and there is more to it. You know, you've got the blue skies in the background and the colours, but wintry mountains, the 3 mountains, okay? Anyway, this meeting that was the upcoming meeting with the Bank of International Settlements was the meeting that he keeps referring to multiple times, and it was the catalyst that changed Ripple's kind of their trajectory of their future, because they got invited in through the elite doors. So the bank, this particular image is referring to that particular meeting by the BIS. There is no more to this. It has been cracked, and I've seen it rehashed 500 times recently on Twitter. And for heaven's sakes, it's pointless. It's been cracked. We know what it is. Let's move on. Okay, And he said, as foretold, in May 2018, the die had been cast as soon as Genetor or Ripple stepped into the river. Well, who's Genetor and Ripple? Bearable Guy posted this on his timeline many moons ago. Okay, Genetor, okay, or Ripple stepping into the river and crossing the Rubicon. The die had been cast. Okay, it had been decided. The crossing the Rubicon is there's no going back. We're committing. We're doing this. We're going to war. We're going to win. This was a war. This is a war effort. This is when Julius Caesar, with Genetor, led his troops across the Rubicon in a battle that wasn't given the thumbs up by I think it's the Roman Senate at the time, and they went to encroach or increase their territories elsewhere. It led to the downfall of Julius Caesar at the time, but that's not relevant to this. It's crossing the Rubicon that this refers to. Now, this is the important part. The BIS meeting of May 14th, 2019 was the day that Ripple crossed the Rubicon. We've just seen that picture. The Old Kingdom was begrudgingly facing the fact that they had to change. The king, who is not AC, was in that room that day and was quite perturbed. Help was needed, and when all eyes turned to the guard walking in with Brad on her arm like a prom date, Mizaru was kicked out of the chamber. Right, let's first of all look at the BIS meeting. Right, we know where this is. We know what it refers to. You guys have seen this many times. Have I got it on there? Bloody hell, I have got it on there. I haven't opened these up. So, let's open them up. This was the meeting, the famous BIS meeting. Okay? You've probably seen it all before. The Bank of International Settlements meeting where Brad gave a presentation to the BIS. It was at the SNB BNS. Okay? You had all these global banking world leaders sitting there from all over the bloody place. Christine Lagarde, Augustin Carstens and whatever, right? They were all there. We can see another one here with Brad Garlinghouse, with leader of the IMF at the time, Christine Lagarde. We had Ross, who was the head of legal matters at the IMF. Very interesting guy. And we had some of the other big wigs in the community. We've got Alex Webber, chairman of UBS. We had Jeremy there of Circle. We had all the big guys. And the king was in the room this day. Okay. Well, what was so important about this meeting? Okay. The Bearable Guy keeps referring to this meeting and saying, why it was so important. It was the day Ripple were able to give a presentation to the elites of the world to help them solve a problem. What was the problem the elites had? The problem was the elites had is that they had a bit of a pickle because a large software company by the name of Facebook was about to release a stablecoin called DM, and it would change the world as we know it. I don't need to explain too much why on that. But anyway, this is Brad in the halls of power with all these enormous banking institution elites giving a presentation. Now, the Old Kingdom was begrudgingly facing the fact they had to change. Where have we seen that before? The Old Kingdom. The King's Castle, as I've said to you, the Old Kingdom. The King was perturbed. Yeah? Makes sense? Okay, the Old Kingdom, and the King, who is not AC, was in the room that day and he was quite perturbed. Help was needed. Okay, but this is the Old Kingdom. Right? And Lagarde walking with Brad on her arm. Okay. How could everyone forget that day in the meeting? So anyway, this links to a link when you take it here, and I think it's a video if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen it in a while. Let's have a look. Oh, Shopify. Hold on, let me just pause this ad. It's quite an interesting little video, this one he gives us. We are not amused. We need to find a partner that could lead us and teach us how to utilize crypto assets to our benefit before the private sector, which is not regulated, overruns the kingdom. The partner would have to be at least working with a well-known worldwide entity before we could feel confident proceeding. Anyone? Well, of course. Look, there's the elephant in the room that BG put, right? And now Brad Garlinghouse isn't sitting at the table at the minute here now, but he will be in a minute. There's Brad. Now, yes, Augustin Carlson says, we could be open to using technology. Brad. Hold my beer. Okay, you get the vibe. He's with the big guys of the elites of the world and he gave a presentation. You can watch this online. Alex, it's a go. Okay, and I think that refers to Alex. Was it MoneyGram? Someone will have to remind me that. Look at the ace up his sleeve. Ripple took 50 million stake in MoneyGram to push deploy XRP. Right, okay, there we go. So the testing ground, you can see, was used MoneyGrams. So they allowed Ripple to do a test with MoneyGram, you know, in order to fulfill the confidence levels of the banking elites to see how it would work. But in the middle there, he actually just deployed a, look, did you see the boom picture? That was left so quickly. Hold on. Boom. And then this, I'm sorry, Mr. Ersk, you're just going to have to wait. And I think this was referring to the, who is the other competing company to MoneyGram? It would have been, oh God, what's the name of the company? Everyone goes, yes, not the escrow company, the money transmission company that everyone uses other than MoneyGram. It's on the high street. Western Union, that's what it was. So they've said to Western Union, now sorry, too late, we're now with MoneyGram. To be continued. So he'll always lead you to very cool little videos in his links. Anyway, that's what he was referring to with the link of that. How could everyone forget about the meeting so easily? The memories of the Denzians of the internet are so fleeting. People are always asking me for answers. I can't give them so readily. I can only share some clues, some breadcrumbs. Patience, my friends, patience. If I give you all the answers, where's the fun in learning and all that? Instead of answers, let's try some questions instead. Who finally gave the okay to have some serious discussions in regarding crypto assets and its future with the central banks of the world? These are the questions he's asking. What could have been running around the BIS channels that would have the old kingdoms shaken? Well, of course, it was the likes of big tech giants creating stablecoins. And why would that be a threat? Well, you think of the tech giants, Google, Facebook, and all the others have about $1 billion to $2 billion user base. They could become the biggest banks of the world once they create their own currency in a nanosecond. When will the central banks finally decide to do what they have to do in order to not be outdone by a multinational corporation that wishes to establish their own cryptocurrency that would circumvent the traditional towers of power? Towers of power? You get the kind of connotations? Right, and that was referred to Facebook. As we've seen before on this, I pulled up an article. This was before Facebook Libra, the inside story of how the company's cryptocurrency dream died. Well, they had to put a stop to it, because that would have been the end of their debacle. And, you know, anyway, where were Swift's solutions and presentations at the BIS? And this presentation was the one with Brad here. So Swift wasn't here. It was just Brad, you know, at the front desk, hanging out, giving a presentation. Where was Swift? And referred to that, back to that moment when he says, where was Swift's presentation? Where were Swift's solutions and presentation at the BIS? Why was Brad sitting at the table? Right, presentation. What did I tell you about the bear giving a presentation? And what's the presentation to do with? The 589, the Swift. Okay, so you've got small connotations that come back in to do with giving a presentation, to do with the change that would be occurring in the future, just like Brad gave a presentation at Swift. What happened after that meeting with the BIS on the 14th of May, exactly 1 month to 1-2-3 days later, on the 17th of June, that are the banks and institutions scrambling to talk to Ripple? It was probably Libra and Facebook. You're probably going back and check. 1, 2, and 3 is quite crazy and fascinating. A lot of my clues centre around 1, 2s, and 3s. Some clues are never solved, that drives the bear crazy sometimes. Some big ones have been missed. I tried to make them the much easier since coming back in December, but still some are too difficult. 1, 2, and 3 must be some sort of cosmic number. Perhaps it's something to do with Bear going to the moon. 1, 2, and 3. What does it refer to? It's Nikola Tesla's vortex math, the secret of 3, 6, and 9. Not just vortex math, but all sorts of geometrical secrets to life and everything else. It's a very special number, and I believe that the Ripple technology was also bedded down using this very clever approach to using the how would I call it? It's Fibonacci. It's very similar to Fibonacci, the 3, 6, and 9 systems. So there will have been a use of this very clever quantum theory inside the use of the tech. And then he finishes off by saying, God bless you all, my friends. I received so many well messages and well wishes. I read them all. Remember, negative people will always try and tear you down and give you bad advice about things they don't know about. Do your own research, read from different sources, and keep your eyes open. Dig and don't let your guard down. There are many, don't let your guard down. We've seen the knight also here, just really briefly touching upon that. Where's that? It's here. Don't let your guard down. Right. There are many imposters and tricksters gleefully waiting for you to dump all your XRP when the weak hands develop. One bear, not two nor three. The bear doesn't work with anyone except the bear. He will share what he can when he sees fit. Bearable Guy only posts on Ripple, Reddit, Twitter, under Bearable Guy 123 or the reversed account. For now, I enjoy this party. Here's to you all and good folk out there striving for a better life, and many good things continue to happen for you. I hope you all are as happy as I bear witness to this great paradigm shift in the world of finance and XRP. That we're in the middle of. That XRP is in the middle of. The cryptosphere is still shaking to this day. We've seen that yesterday. As you can evidently see, Ripple is the cause of this, and because of that, you should be ready. Right, that's the kind of teardown of it all. It kind of makes a lot more sense when you kind of rip it all into pieces and you have a look at each of these quadrants. And I don't know what I've kept these open for. Oh, they're just the parts where I've pulled the clues from earlier on. But does that make sense now regarding this? You know, this change of paradigm, and he was referring to a lot of this back from the early days. This is stuff that's been and done. So when people try and rehash these in the future sense, it makes no sense to me. Anyway, please smash the like buttons, drop a comment, turn the notifications on. I'm interactive in the comments. If you want to come and say hello, I'll reply. Yeah. The likes have been really helping the channel and pushing the content out the past few days. It's been bloody brilliant. I've been trying to get a video out a day, and you know, come and say hi on my Twitter. I'm pretty active on there as well. I'll try and reply to you all. Give us a follow. And I hope that's helped you all debunk the idea of the Loadstar 2 letter. We're going to move on to Loadstar 3, which is in the future. It's not coming into the fold just yet, but we can cover it anyway and get our eyes on things and understand it all. Anyhow, hope that's helpful, hope it's useful, hope it's generated value for you. I hope you all have a fantastic day and a weekend with your families or whatever you're doing. Get outdoors, don't stay on the computer. And I hope that you all end up being blessed. Take care. Speak soon.